What is good? What is up? It's Jordan, your Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another video today. I've got part 2 of the Davis Mills film breakdown. We saw his first game of the season versus Colorado. Now we've got UCLA, which is touted as his best game of the season. Again, we'll be looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly, trying to see, what he already does well and what he still needs to work on to become a potential starting quarterback. So if you enjoy, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and comment down below your thoughts on Davis Mills. Now let's break down the film of Mills versus UCLA, because the film don't lie. Starting off with the good, and my favorite thing I mentioned in part 1 of my Davis Mills breakdown was his anticipation on throws. Throwing guys open and leading them to open space. Now, I didn't see it as much versus UCLA as I did with Colorado, but here's a nice one. This one's late in the game, 4th quarter. Mills balled out, and we'll get to that in a second, but here, tight ends got an out route. And when you've got off coverage, a lot of offenses will ask you to run this route physically. You want to step on the defender's toes, get into their chest, and then push off your break. And that's exactly what he does here. But again, anticipation throws. When does Mills start to throw this? Look at when the ball starts to dip. And the tight end, he's just now getting into the defender. He hasn't even made his break yet. But Mills knows this defender is inside leveraged. He ain't stopping an out-breaking route. So he trusts his tight end and gets the throw out very quickly. Should have placed it outside to allow him to get yak, but overall, good play. On the same line of using his brain, he had some nice moments of reading the full field versus UCLA. This is a great job. You can see him clearly go through his progressions. So what's the read here? Number 1, you've got the out. Cornerback stays attached pretty well. Number 2, you've got the go. Cornerback is in off coverage and you've got safety over top. So probably not your best bet. Great, move on from it quickly though. Then number 3 is the sit route over the middle. Great job by the wide receiver working open and giving Mills a window, and great job by Mills to just take what's given to him with pressure in his face. So last video I mentioned how Mills statistically wasn't very good at getting past his first read. But you see, he's not allergic to it. It's just all about becoming more consistent with it. Here's another one for you, and again, just take what the defense is giving you. Don't force anything. Number 1 is the slot fade. Can't throw that versus too high coverage, and look, you've got 3 defenders to only 2 of your guys, so not a great option on this side of the field. Move on from it quickly, and he sees 4 guys versus his 2 guys on this side though. And it's a fun concept here. You got a post by the number 1 wide receiver, a corner by the number 2 wide receiver, and then this post is a little stop and go, and just remember that route for later. But here, the defense, they ain't biting on it. Alright, they are playing the deep ball. They're giving you the check down. Okay, so take the check down. Don't try and be a hero. That's a fine play, and I just like the process here. Read the field, get through your progressions. Nothing there. Okay, check it down. Good job. When you can go through your reads and aren't limited to just your first option, you're a much more dangerous quarterback. Here's a good one. A simple one, but a good one. First read, you can see he checks his left, go route, nothing there. 2 DBs much deeper than his guy. Move on. Check his right, and now you got that stop and post route that I mentioned before. Love this route. Gets the cornerback to stop his feet, and look at when Mills throws this. Little anticipation again here. His guy isn't fully open, but Mills can see it happen before it happens. So boom, you combine the anticipation with reading the full field, and you make defenses' jobs very tough. He had a lot of good throws up the seam over the middle of the field today. 2 high safeties. Man, that's what the NFL is transitioning into. So when you have these routes that beat middle of the field open coverages, that's great. It's great to see your quarterback win on those. And he caps it off with a great touchdown here. It's late in the 4th quarter, driving the comeback, ties up the game with the beautiful throw in the post to his guy, Fehoko. Everything about this just looks easy, and that's how you want it to look in college. Look at the defense, man. I mean, they're just inviting the middle of the field. It's wide open. Mills has been doing it all day. They didn't learn. They didn't adjust. Not in time. So punish them for it. Just taking what's there. Big time moment. Good clutch throw. Mills and Fehoko, man, they were really in sync today. 3 touchdowns. We saw that one that sent it to overtime. Here's the first one of the day. Slot fade and good touch by Mills. Good placement by Mills. That's just a beauty, man. Look at him drop this in a bucket. I mean, come on. Away from the nickel cornerback. Just out of reach from the outside cornerback. Doesn't get better than that. Another one. Overtime now. Gotta win the game. It hasn't always been pretty for Mills. We'll get to that in a second. But you're here now. put everything else behind you, and go make a play. And he does. Stanford gets the look that they want. Finally, UCLA goes to a single high coverage to stop the middle of the field throws. But single high means you can't double team Fehoko. So Mills knows this is the throw. This is the time to win the game. The placement isn't as good as the other one. It's inside and the cornerback should have made a play, but he doesn't. Punish the cornerback for not finding the ball. Teach him a lesson. So a great finish to the game by Mills. Him and Fehoko were just on the same page all day long. And I'm hoping Mills and Collins can create the same chemistry. You know, another big body target with some good build-up speed and strong hands. Collins wins on these same routes that Fehoko does. Goes down the sideline, posts over the middle, fades in the end zone. Get the two of each other, throwing to each other all of training camp, all of preseason. Build that chemistry, man, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of these throws. So clutching up in the fourth quarter and overtime was no doubt huge for Mills. It speaks to his composure and ability to have selective memory. You know, move past the bad and focus on the throws in the moment. Love it. What I equally loved this game was some flashes of making throws on the run. Been waiting to see this. This is a great one here, where it looks like his internal clock goes off and he feels the pressure, escapes the pocket, and completes the pass. Let's look at what he sees here. So we've got an all curls concept and he works outside in. First he looks out wide to the number 1, but this cornerback isn't off coverage. He doesn't back up at all. He actually senses the curl. So Mills works the 2. 2's getting bumped, so he's not the greatest option. I think 3 could be a potential throw. Get it out right now and it'll be there as he turns around, but not the end of the world that he moves on. Now I like that Mills, either he senses the pressure behind him or he just knows in his head, okay, look, I've made 3 reads. I gotta get out the pocket now. He shows enough mobility and he hits his guy in stride. Just a good simple play. That ability to make plays when things aren't perfect, when you don't like your first 3 reads, and when there's pressure coming at you, extending the play and going off script. The more you do that, the more I believe in a potential higher ceiling for Davis Mills. Here's probably my favorite play out of his. That isn't even a completion. Late in the game here, fourth quarter, 2-minute drill. And look at Mills try and make a big boy play. That's a tough throw. That needs to be perfect on the sideline. And he places it really well. Gives his wide receiver a chance to make a play. Now, NFL wide receivers should make this catch more often than not, but I just really like the football IQ in this situation. 2-minute drill, you need yards, and you need to get out of bounds. No one's open at the top of the drop, so extend the play. Now, if you scramble, maybe you get 5 yards. If you dump it off, probably less than that. So there's only one place to really go with this. And again, it's ruled incomplete, but when you're scouting college guys, a lot of the time it's about the process, not the results. So results, you look at the box score, it counts as an incompletion, you don't like the play. But you watch the film, you look at the process, that's great process right there by Mills. And it should be a catch more often than not, so I like it. So we've seen the good flashes this game, lots to like for sure. Anticipation, again, some good full field reads here and there, throws on the run, and then clutch throws to send it to overtime and to win it in overtime. All right, that's huge. You love to see, the mental makeup of someone who can move on from mistakes and still deliver for his team in the clutch. So now let's look at some of those mistakes because there were a lot of them in this game. Moving on to the bad, and let's start with something we saw from the Colorado game as well. Inaccuracy. Another screen pass that is just nowhere near. The footwork looks awkward here. It looks like he might have slipped. And from this angle, that knee did not look great. Hopefully he's 100% from his multiple knee injuries now, and that won't hinder him. Hopefully. His deep ball today was also just bad. It's bad in general, but today was just off. Here's the worst one of the day. Fehoko just runs straight past his defender, and it's airmail. That's a potential touchdown, man. That's a throw you need to make. You don't see misses a good 5 yards past the wide receiver in the NFL. Not from solid starting quarterbacks. And there's no excuse for this one. Pocket is clean. He can step up, take his time. There's no safety he needs to beat. No tight window he's trying to squeeze it into. I mean, you just gotta hit that. And I'm not just singling out one bad play. I mean, there were 4 missed deep balls. He went 2 for 6 of them in total today. This one's not as bad. Should have been caught, but it also should have been another touchdown. You got all that space to hit him in stride, and when he's throwing it, this safety shouldn't be a concern. because you can see the safety is going inside to protect the post, which that's open too, by the way, but you take the deep shot. Wide receiver needs to slow down though, and you take a touchdown off the board. Ball placement, man. That's something that has been a massive issue out of Mills. He's usually generally accurate. He'll give his guys catchable balls. This is a catchable ball, but his placement is regularly off. Lead your guys to open space. Make it easier on them, not harder. Here's another example of placement and how he's holding back the potential of this offense. Alright, this is a great concept here. Deep rub route on this post corner concept. You can see this cornerback gets caught a little bit, and this should be another touchdown. Now don't get me wrong, results of this play, it's good, 30-yard gain. But remember, process over results. And if you're looking for elite quarterback play, you want him to elevate his teammates, get the best out of them, and put them in positions to play their best ball. That means leading this out in front and hitting him in stride so they can get yak and get the touchdown. Instead, it becomes a tougher catch, he needs to adjust, and there's no yak. Now, Mills did have pressure in his face, he couldn't step into it, and he kind of just had to float it up there. So I get it's a tough situation to be perfect in, but again, elite quarterbacks, they don't let pressure get to them. They still make perfect throws. So just keep that in mind when you think about what Mills' ceiling can be. So let's transition to how Mills dealt with pressure versus UCLA. We showed a couple of good clips, but there were some pretty bad reps too. Again, hopefully Pep Hamilton can iron out these bad kinks and get to some more consistent play overall. This one doesn't look great, he's doing too much. One thing that should easily improve over time is just knowing your own athletic limitations and knowing when it's time to just throw it away. Now credit to Mills, didn't take a sack here, but goddamn he was close to it. And every time he makes out the pocket, oh boy, he's gonna have me clenching my chest and praying to the Easterby gods. So we saw a play earlier where it seemed like Mills had a good sense of when pressure was coming from behind him. But here he gets a bit greedy. He gets locked onto his boy Fehoko on this double move and doesn't feel the defenders breathing down his neck. Finding that balance of standing tall in the pocket and not panicking versus knowing when you can take a step to your side and buy an extra second, that's huge, man. From this angle you can see, I know Mills wants to go to Fehoko, but you can take a step to your right instead and potentially have this tight end who's got leverage on the defender. Or just take all that open space and scramble. This was early in the game. No time constraints. You don't need a big play. Get past that long, developing double move and look elsewhere. Last one here, and I would love to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's just throwing this one away, but it kind of looks like he panics. First read ain't there, but look at Fehoko. He's breaking open. We've seen Mills can anticipate throws. He just doesn't do that when there's pressure though. So getting more game reps, seeing these scenarios again and again, training his mind to be more comfortable in uncomfortable situations, that's going to be massive for Mills' development. Alright, so we saw the good, we saw the bad. Now let's get on to the ugly. There were a lot of mental mistakes by Mills in this game, costly ones at that, and a big theme that I've noticed is he struggles reading quarters coverage and complex defenses that use a lot of post-snap movement. Let's start with quarters, and this is becoming the most common defensive coverage in the NFL, so Mills better improve at making these reads. He wants the post over the middle, and we've seen earlier in the game how he's been killing two high safety coverages in this exact area of the field, behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. But quarters works differently than your basic cover 2. In cover 2, your cornerbacks aren't deep, so your safeties need to be more aware of the sideline. They get stretched out more. But in quarters, your cornerbacks are deep, so the safeties are more responsible for the middle of the field. And versus a quarters look like this, you usually don't want to throw the post, and you definitely can't throw it late. The safety's all over it. If you're gonna throw it, the ball needs to be out now, so that it hits the wide receiver as soon as he breaks inside and before the safety can get there. But I mean, just versus quarters in general, it's generally not a high percentage throw, and there were more open options available. Alright, interception number 2 here, and out of all of his interceptions, I'd probably blame him the least on this one because, goddamn, this is an interesting defensive call by UCLA. I'm not 100% confident in what this coverage call is. I don't want to give you all the wrong information, and there are a lot of moving parts. So pre-snap, it looks like it could be a cover 1 blitz or cover 0 blitz. Then post-snap, it's actually a sim pressure. So they're only sending 4, and they've got 7 in coverage. Now what Mills probably saw is this safety vacating his deep zone. And so yeah, the slot fade is probably your best bet. But what he didn't see is this cornerback keeping his eyes on the ball. not staying glued to the outside, but being able to play this seam because this DB is helping him out on Fehoko. So Mills got tricked mentally by the post-snap movement, but the ball was also just bad. You can't float this one up and give the DBs a chance. It's a bad decision, it's underthrown, and there's just no velocity on it. Rarely do you ever see Mills drive the ball downfield and get it into a tight window. That's what needed to happen here. Drive the ball, don't float it up. Alright, last interception and worst one of the day. Just plain ugly. Again, fooled by the post-snap movement of the coverage, and to add insult to injury, ouch. So let's see what happened here. Pre-snap to me, this looks like cover one. Man across the board, and this safety could be patrolling deep. So to throw a slant versus off-man coverage, yeah, not a bad idea. But as a quarterback, you've got to make your check pre-snap, and then another post-snap. Mills is staring this side of the field down. He should see the cornerback coming down, but he still throws it. So what was the coverage if it wasn't cover one? UCLA rotates to a cover two blitz instead. Creative way to get to it. Good job by the GC. The backside cornerback is going into this deep zone. The field safety is the other deep zone, and the boundary safety rotates down into a hook zone. And now you can sort of see that cover two look better. So it's definitely a tough look for Mills. I don't know if he panicked because he knew the blitz was coming and he wanted to get the ball out quick, but something's off here. Because if you look at Fehoko, he wasn't ready for the ball to be there that quickly. Again, something is off. Maybe it's some miscommunication, but either way, it's ugly by Mills. Should have seen the cornerback, and that's something he'll really have to work on going to the NFL, because they throw this stuff at you all the damn time. Nothing is vanilla. This is UCLA, okay? UCLA's defense, and they're messing with your head. Just a couple more plays here, and there were a lot of good, but there were a lot of negative plays as well that Mills has got to cut down. 3 bad interceptions that were his fault, 2 bad sacks that were his fault. And the more you watch of Mills, the more you see him hesitate on throws. Now, I don't know if it's him not trusting his arm, but this is an easy one here. Off coverage, take the slant. He likes it initially, and you lead it a little to the outside and away from this defender, that's money. But then we see, he also doesn't have the elite athleticism to get away from defenders a lot of the time. One more here, and yeah, this is horrible blocking by the running back, but the ball should have been out already. Top of your drop, ball's got to go out to this curl. And once again, you see him hesitate. Slight hitch here, and I don't know for sure if he's trying to throw this deep and doesn't trust his arm, or he sees his triple coverage late and doesn't want to throw a pick. Maybe he was haunted by the 3 interceptions that he threw before. I don't know. I'm not Davis Mills. But what is important here is you could have prevented the sack by hitting a pretty easy read. So to conclude, we saw the good, we saw the bad, we saw the ugly. We're already seeing a pattern from the first part of this breakdown, and so knowing these good, bad, and ugly aspects, it helps us set expectations for Mills and helps us understand where he'll succeed and where he'll still need some work. He's shown flashes of doing a little bit of everything, but there's little to no consistency through 4 quarters. If there is one trait to hang his hat on, it's definitely anticipation. But he's got a lot to clean up. Accuracy, that's one thing that I think he can clean up by the end of the 2021 season, hopefully. But feeling pressure and dealing with it consistently, plus reading defenses, that's stuff that's only gonna get a lot better with in-game reps. And he probably won't get those in the 2021 season. It all depends, how he looks in practices, how he's picking up the playbook, and if the coaches think he's ready. So while Mills has some baseline traits that can get you excited, no doubt, he's a developmental guy for a reason, who I think we need to have patience with and give a year or even 2 before you can really even consider him, a dependable starter material quarterback. That's what will be best for his development, and that's what will be best for the Houston Texans. Alright, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. I know, I said there will be a part 3, but unfortunately he didn't play in the Oregon game, so I unfortunately don't have any more All-22 to share with y'all. So I apologize for that. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content I'll be making on the Texans rookies. I'll do videos for Nico Collins, Brevin Jordan, and then the other guys eventually as well. So also comment down below, who is your player comparison for Davis Mills? For me, I think low end, maybe a Cody Kessler type. high end, maybe you're getting a Kirk Cousins type. Alright, take care everyone, come back for more, and remember, the film don't lie.